Jeff Wells with Beyond the Rings. Welcome back to another episode of Paris for Outreach 30 30. 30 short stories in 30 days. That's our goal. Let's go with today. So, if you know me at all, you know how much I love children and teenagers. And I'm especially drawn Asian children. And if you don't know, I have a daughter, the youngest daughter, adopted from China. So I have a special place in my heart for beautiful little Chinese, like this cutie. So just love the opportunity I got to have to get my picture taken with this girl. Now, obviously, she's too small. Those of you who are not watching it, about a year and a half old, maybe 3. But she's a little one, okay? But just as cute, reminds me of my little girl. And but I share it for twofold. This was the day that we were sitting just outside of our hotel, and we were going to get to see our first Olympic event. And it's often one of our favorite and common questions. And it's not why we go. It's understandable why people would ask that. Well, why would you be go to an event? There's 2 reasons for that. One, our primary purpose for is to engage, and we want to take advantage of the cultural event that is the Summer Olympic City, but we're not there as true Olympic fans. Going to go to 6 events over 17 days. Tourist arrest. That's not why we're there. Day in and day out, our goal is to get up, find our way, places where we engage in the most meaningful gospel conversations with many people that day. Now, that being said, we're not opposed to going to an Olympic event. We would love to do that. The other major reason why we typically don't go, one of the things that I was grateful to see Paris 24 that I'm not sure of was basically the crowds. Starting in winter of 20 South Korea, there was a lot of concern North Korea, so that affected the attendance of international going to the, it was consequently mostly Koreans stands. I mean, there were international, but not like you would normally have seen. Well, then 2018, and really that even goes back to into 20 was while the West Nile virus, whatever it was, variant women avoid it because pregnancy. I'm not saying that you could go back to 2014, Russia with the Winter Games, Sochi, and their tension with Ukraine, which shortly after the it reclaimed Crimea. Yes, every Olympics they're traveling. But so coming out of Pyeongchang 2018, obviously then we worldwide that affected 2020 by force because spread is athletes, very few press that could travel internationally. Even the city of Tokyo had to put free masks, very limiting. So there were legitimate questions about what would the crowds would the Olympics of the past. So they did, and to the point that hard to come by. You had to basically, I don't understand it all. I didn't read. first sign up, get picked to be able to even buy tickets. Then you had to buy a variety of tickets. I went to handball, bulk of tickets. So it was complicated and expensive. I don't think I heard of an event less than 100 a lot of. Now, don't get me wrong. I know sporting events and concerts that have. I was looking at something the other that I would love to be part of, but like $70. Not that it's not worth it. It's a lot of money. And so we don't want to add that financial burden to trying to raise money just when not possible. So we don't organize currently being an Olympic event part of the trip. The- Now that being said, somebody did approach me after we got back from Paris. Maybe we need to set up a special fund for event so that people specifically to help cover that so that team members can go to the because again, it's not just an experience, and it is that, but it's also great places. And so up until this point in Paris 24, where we had not been to, but passing by our hotel that day was a portion, very small portion, segment of road cycling. And so we just decided to make a day out there, little bench right near that there. Lo and behold, started up and happened before rode by. I guess there were several thousand people. I just and as a result, many people walked up to us about your pen. And we had many gospel that day. One of them was in this, and so again, I was so grateful to that opportunity. I'd never seen cycling. Let me tell you, when you're going to a road cycling event, whether it's this or Tour de France or anything else, here's what it's like. Unless you're at the beginning and at the end, that's it. They're done. I mean, they just zoom by you in breakneck speed. The men's group, there was like 90 some odd cyclists, I believe, riding that day. Were spread out in a couple of big groups and then some stragglers. Um, so got to see a couple of bursts of cyclists zoom by and their support cars and all that stuff. It was fun to watch, but it went by very quickly. Um, but I have to share and commend Ground Team. You helped beat 24. Brandon Long, Destiny Buffalo Mate Baptist University, right? Layman, strong, Mississippi, works a day job. He was there. None of them, not one of them. While we talked about, in fact, we had explored, get tickets for this, get that. And even with, they had a good system in place for reselling tickets that were legit and it was all online, but it tried to minimize scalping fake tickets. But even with that, at this point, we've not been able to. So Brandon, Destiny, they were all just like, okay. So after this event, when asked, have you been to any events? I was like, well, no. And then Brandon and Destiny were like, no, we have. We got to see the men's cycling. Like, what a great attitude. True, we had seen him. But a lot of people wouldn't consider this a true Olympic event stadium. Weren't in the building where gymnastics, but right had to in an event. free and it was fast, but and then, this is the only event Tony got to see before he re but Brandon and Destiny and I were there another 7 days after Tony left, and we had gone on women's cycling road cycling, passed by Louvre Museum. That was a neat culturally uh, Olympic, history is the cycling right in front of the pyramid. It was amazing to see. But toward the end of our time there, we were able to couple of tickets, like, just in the Stade de France, inside the Olymp so, Tony and Brandon and Destiny did get to be in for so, the whole point was whether we're at an event on a metro, sitting at McDonald's, in this case, looking for on faith. That's what Olympic outreach is all about, creating evangelism, but beyond the ring, 17 days of Acts 1:8, witness for next person. So thanks for tuning in for today's Pairs 24, 30, and 30, or we're sharing